Alrighty, hello, my name is Sam Caldwell. I am a junior and I study music education. And so for the problems to tackle in this course, I think the most important things seem to be me and that the syllabus kind of talks about through the objectives is creating or finding ways to create equity in our teaching. Finding ways to support English learners, even and understand English learners and understand their life and their life outside of school and how it affects them in school. And even like to the understanding point, we talk about the labels. There's so many labels. And then so I think it's finding whichever label fits a student the best or fits everybody really well. And I think multilingual learners, because like there's so many options, but every option has their caveat. But I think multilingual learners is one of the ones that I think I gravitate to because there's not a lot of negatives with that one as there's with like the second language learner or the emerging bilinguals. You know, there's like a connotation, or there's not a connotation. There's a some of them could be polyglots. The biggest issues to discuss in this class is creating the optimal learning space, no matter the content area, or finding general things that stretch around all content areas. That's something that there's a lot of pushback because, you know, you have people who are like, I'm history, but then I'm music. Music is so different in so many ways, and we don't see a lot of ELL or EL learners in those spaces. So that, I think, will be the biggest thing to discuss. As far as like getting into current debates and things, I think when you're in the situation of multilingual learners, you're always jumping through hoops of policy and politics because their existence is so controversial. Like, let's be real, their presence in America is so controversial sometimes. Especially now, like as I think about in the latest news in education, but also just America, is a possible like ICE raids, you know, that a student's parents might go through because they're not naturally born citizens. So there's a lot of things when you're dealing with a lot of immigrant families from war-torn countries or situations like that where you have to think, my students are being affected by this now. Three important ideas, and I kind of brought this up, but it's equity in the classroom, but also justice in the classroom. I've seen that graphic so much of like equal or equality and equity, but now seeing the graphic with justice, I'm like, what are ways that we can actually remove the barriers? And a lot of that is like using stuff like universal design guidelines, which I think are really cool in the classroom. Understanding, so using proper terminology, working with English learning teachers about what we can do to create a supportive environment, and then learning and knowing when to integrate a student, which is talked about in the reading, when integration, or in the Gibbons reading, when integration is necessary and when it's useful and when it's harmful. And the same for the other option, when pulling a student out is harmful and when it's helpful. And then supporting students. For relevancy, so as a music educator, specifically I teach like violin, viola, cello, double bass. That is a program that's always like, they're always like, oh my God, I'm always in fear of like a program getting cut, right? So I think to make my program and my work as a teacher more relevant, I have to reach more students. So classes like this is actually perfect because I'm learning ways that I can reach greater students, which is job security for me, but also it's using music as a way to support the student. And one of the readings it talks about how, or even in the lecture, how you have to find what a student's good at for them to take risks. If a student's good at music, we can integrate other lingual skills into a music class. There's songs, lyrics, pedagogy, poetry, like there's so many things we can do. So yeah, that's it.